Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Bidman and today you are tuned in for a dipping your toe into fall makeup, so stay tuned. I've already washed my face and done my skincare, so let's neutralize the face. We are going to start with Bobbi Brown's Corrector in light to medium bisque. So I'm just going in with my ring finger and gently tapping anywhere where I see any discoloration. I still do get some puffiness, but you know, there's not really anything you can do about that except grab a product with caffeine or retinol and that will help to shrink any puffiness that's going on. Also, actually just really gently just kind of tapping around that occipital bone does help to get rid of any puffiness as well. I know Lisa Eldridge has like these special balls that she massages her face. I definitely could use some of those as well. Okay, we also need to neutralize our eyelid area, so we're going to go in with our NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, again on ring fingers because we are working around the eye area. And remember that your ring fingers are your weakest finger, which is great because the eye area skin is very delicate. So you're like barely touching the skin, but you're making sure that there's no additional product, because again, this product has so much silicone that if there's too much, it can kind of go against the eyeshadow placement and kind of gunk up a little bit. If you're really worried about it, you can always grab a concealer brush and just really lightly make sure that there's no excess and everything is just kind of sitting on the skin where it needs to be. You can wipe that off on the back of your hand as long as your hands are clean, and then also do the same thing with any corrector that you have as well. Okay, we are doing kind of a simple eye, but it's going in these really beautiful cranberry colors. So I think I can do my complexion without worry. So I'm going to do 1.5 pumps of Lisa's Seamless Skin Foundation. I'm going to use my 55 and I'm just going to dot, placing the product anywhere where I have more discoloration. So I don't have a lot of discoloration around the side of my face. Mine happens right on the inside or towards the center of my face. So that's where I'm placing the product first, and then I'm just bouncing my brush almost like a beauty blender, bouncing it and then blending out the edges as needed. The 55 is great because it's not quite like the Duo Fiber where it's going to give you a very sheer coverage. It's in between that and something like the BK Beauty 101, which is much more dense and will definitely give you more coverage. But if you don't want more coverage, if you're working with something like the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Foundation, then you know the foundation is doing that work for you. All you really have to do is get it on the face and make sure that it's nice and blended. But you don't have to build up the coverage because the pigment level is so good. You can always sheer it out, mixing it in with some moisturizer. However, if you're having like a big day coming up, I would test it because some moisturizers don't play very well with foundation. So always make sure before it's like the first day of school or you're going to work, try it out on the weekend or a day when you're just hanging around the house and see what you think. That's also a really great tip for a new makeup look, eyeshadow, lipstick. Wear it around the house first. Get yourself comfortable. You're in your safe zone and see if that jives with you. See if that feels good. It also works for fashion too. So if you are an online shopper or you purchase something, before you take the tags off, just kind of wear it around the house for a little bit. Don't do anything crazy. Don't get your clothes dirty or anything like that, but just see, does this like actually function in my daily life? And that will save you some money because I guarantee that you're going to find that you either really love something or it just doesn't work quite as well when you're not standing and, you know, doing your sachet in front of the mirror, as we all do. Okay, complexion is almost done, so we're just going to add a little bit of concealer. GIORGIO Armani Luminous Silk. This is in the 4.5, so same color I've been using for a really long time. Going back to my concealer brush, this is the 57, and also just kind of bouncing this a little bit. We might go in with a BK Beauty brush if we feel like we need to. In fact, I think I will. So I'm going to go in with the 110, which is definitely like the mini sponge, and it's so good. It just kind of gets into any place. The nice thing about a brush is that you can clean it really, really well. Sometimes sponges start to disintegrate as you clean them. Beauty blenders are amazing, but if you want the longevity, I would go with a brush. And I know in some places you can't even use sponges on clients anymore. So if you're a professional, make sure that you know what is okay in your area of expertise. All right, we are going to set with Diffused Light from Hourglass. I'm going to use my blush and powder brush and just really lightly. This is already a really nice velvety powder, and you can see like I still have a little bit of shine to the skin. It's not mattifying me, so it's really great for drier skin types. If you're a little bit more oily, you want that mattification, so Hourglass is probably not a great one for you, but it's really nice for older skin or drier skin because it just sits on top. It doesn't go in, and it doesn't stop that natural luminescence coming through. When the big matte craze was going on when I worked at Sephora, something that some brands would say is like, skin isn't matte. Mattification is for people who produce oils and then create that natural glow. So for someone like me who's a little bit on the drier side, something like the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders are really great because they just soften any shine that's going on from foundation or from skincare that's happening. And then I really get to decide where I'm putting that shine back in. So just really lightly tapping Lisa Eldridge's highlighter. And now we get to go on to the eyes. So before we do that, we are going to do our brows. I'm going to do the Lisa way. I'm going to comb my brush hair down, my brow hair. I'm going to comb my brow hair down, and then I'm just going to fill in any gaps. And I mostly have gaps at the top and the bottom. And then of course at the front, just from plucking when I was younger. And then always kind of taking a step back and checking. If you are using a close-up mirror, make sure that you're taking a step back and seeing what is happening from farther away, because it can be a little shocking sometimes when you're working so close. When you step back, things can look a little bit different. Sometimes you can really get lost in the details when you're working up close. So always make sure that you take a step back. All right, now we are going in with the eyes. So first starting with Satin Kajal from Victoria Beckham. Just little dashes. I'm rereading Vanessa Van Edwards' Q's book right now, which is the December book talk. And she said that showing the whites of your eyes is not a good sign for communicating and creating warmth and charisma and all those things. And I'm like, but what about beauty tutorials when sometimes you do have to show the whites of your eyes? So sometimes, you know, it's just something that's on my mind. All right, we're going to use our bronzer as our first eyeshadow base on the 201. So just kind of coating our entire lash, and then finding that socket, finding the crease, and blending up just a little bit. As always, please take into account your eye shape and your level of space as well. A really good rule is to just kind of get it right into that socket, blend it, and then you'll be able to figure out pretty quickly how high you can take it, especially after we take a breath and relax our eyes and the skin around our eyes, because everything is going to fall a little bit. And then making sure that we are equal on both sides as well. Kind of going just above the socket, that socket line. I love using a bronzer as the base because I know it's going to match what is going on with the rest of my face. Because I'm going to put the bronzer in other places, so everything is going to be really nice and cohesive. It's also a great place to start when you want a minimal look, and you can slap on a liner, slap on mascara, and you're good to go. All right, but we are going to add a little bit of that fall touch, a little bit of that berry, cranberry wine color. So we are going to work with Finjan and Swiss chocolate. So I'm just going to mix those two together on my 217, and we're just going to emphasize that outer corner. Relaxing our face. Taking a little step back. I know I'm going to go in and just soften that a little bit, but MAC shadows, I mean, they're powders, so they're not going anywhere unless I move them with a brush or with my finger. So I have time to play, which is great. It's definitely a pro of using powders over creams, because once creams are down, once they dry, they're meant to last forever. So you just want to make sure you know what you're doing when you're working with a cream shadow, especially in the crease area. So I'm just going to take a Sonia Kashuk brush, the tapered crease, and I'm just going to soften that. Make sure that everything's really blending together. There's nothing on my brush. I brought that bronzer up pretty high, so it just has a nice fade out built in already. Now we're going to take the 203 from BK Beauty, and I'm going to mix it in with Shroom and Floof. So we have kind of a neutral shimmer and a purpley shimmer. I'm doing Spirited Away from Lisa Eldridge, which has kind of that berry, cranberry feel to it, and I want just a little bit of that playing in the eyes as well. Now Floof is pretty powerful, it's pretty potent, so you just want to make sure that you don't go overboard. And I'm just bringing that to meet up with what I already have. I'm going to go back in with the 217 that already has the Swiss chocolate and the Finjan on there, and I'm just going to meld those two together. Make sure that I really like what's going on. Okay, we are going to add the liner, and then we are going to finish off the look. So I'm going to start with my STILA Stay All Day. It's always a good idea to just shake it and get those pigments going, because you will have a little bit more life in your liner if you do some shakes. So just doing little dashes right along the lash line. And moving my wand or my brush as needed, using the really thin tip towards the center of the eye and kind of using more of the side of the wand or the brush on the outer part where I have a little bit more space. Don't forget that you can use all sides and all aspects of your tools for different looks and kind of different techniques as well. Okay, we are going to do a double line because I'm wearing this leopard print and I want it to be a little bit softer, but I want the longevity of the liquid. So now I'm going to go in with Chocolate Shimmer on my angle brush from Sigma. And it might feel like like, Jansen, I can't do this every day. It's going to take forever. But I promise you, once you kind of get in a groove and you're not like dictating a beauty tutorial, it goes so fast. You're just going to whip everything on really, really quickly. And just adding that little bit of a chocolate just takes it down a little bit and makes it a little bit more day, a little bit less graphic, and just a little bit softer, which I'm really loving. So longevity with liquid and softening with either powder or with a gel. Okay, now we can go in with our 3D Maximizer. I definitely need a new one of these because I can tell it's getting to the end, but we are coating our lashes, dipping back in for the second eye, getting right into the roots, pulling through. This is a synthetic one, so it does a good job separating your lashes for you. And then going in with Bobbi Brown's Smokey Eye Mascara. I want to make sure that the products that I'm showing you, I trust and I love. But if you have any favorite mascaras, doesn't matter if they're drugstore or whatever. I use drugstore mascaras all the time in my kit because then I get to dictate the kind of wand because I'm not using the wand on the client, which makes a huge difference. So I know there's some really good formulas out there that aren't quite as expensive as the prestige brands. Okay, we are going to finish off our complexion now. So I'm going to go in with Sweet Enough on my blush and powder brush. This is just a mineralized blush from MAC, and I think it plays really nicely with these berry colors. It's kind of a berry brown. And then we'll go in with our bronzer, again from Natasha Denona, with the BK Beauty Bronzer Brush. And just going right under that cheekbone, kind of finding that little hollow spot. So either you have it or you don't, and you can create that shadow if you don't have it. You're just finding that cheekbone, your literal bone, and you're just going right under there. Don't suck in your cheeks though. That's not a good idea because sometimes that placement can get a little off. And because I'm wearing brown, sometimes I like to do a little bit more bronzer when I'm wearing brown, just so again, everything is really nice and cohesive. And just taking a step back, and then I'm just going to use the side of my brush and kind of blend the blush and the bronzer together to make a more cohesive look. Finishing off with Lisa Eldridge's Spirited Away. It's the best color. It's the best like transition color into fall. It's not too red like Palazzo, and it's not too brown as well. So now we're going to go in with Pompadour, which is a little bit more of like a purple pink. And these two together are magic. Licking your top teeth, pinky, and we're done. Thank you guys so much for watching this makeup tutorial. I hope it inspired you to start playing with those cranberry and wine colors and just dipping your toe into the fall makeup scene. I do fashion videos every Wednesday and beauty videos every Friday. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and make sure you're following me on Instagram and watching the shorts for more glossy philosophy. I'll see you next time. Bye!